mobility offered here.
Yeah, speaking of mobility, we're looking at 3 quantum charges present for Brazil. That gives them the early game, well, advantage. You have the basic hits, you have the HP regen, you have more ways of sustaining more of your lanes. But if you're up against a Charizla, you need more support from here. We're looking at Black, we're looking at Super Syndra right down bottom, just holding on to the XP lane, trying to get a poke out of UAE. Now, if early game is concerned here, this is where the Mathilda would shine. You have that AoE activation. You have more ways that you can actually utilize this. We were expecting, well, personally me, actually he would use the focusing mark from Mathilda. But now he's more onto the quantum charge. Utilizing his basic attacks for HP regen, maybe he wants to sustain team fights rather than invading or actually enhancing attributes in team fights.
Not only that, but I think you're just also using that quantum charge emblem because it allows you to be a little more aggressive when you're poking down, and you know, those minor hits here and there can really whittle down the members of UAE, so they have to be mindful of that. Not only that, but mobility is just great right now in the current setup for a lot of these matches, a lot of these team compositions, right? That's why you see so much of the quantum charge also picked up. You see a lot of sprints even here currently. Hold on, Upa might be in trouble. He's already going to be focused down. Decimate comes out, first blood already in the hands of UAE, all before that first turtle comes up on the other side of the map. So they're going to make their way there. Bazizio trying to plan himself around here with Super Syndra.
Yeah, this is the pros and cons of having a Mathilda or even a Uranus. On the side of UAE, they have catch, they have stun, they have spellvamp. So in early game, you can either shut down the momentum that Brazil can actually do with the presence of Mathilda, but now first objective is up. More coverage of Brazil is in the area, but they're pushing away Travis, even Jed, not being close for this one.
Okay, turtle secured. I don't think they're even going to fight that. So, you know, you were thinking, would they press the kill on it? Black did an amazing job just kind of zoning out the members here, so they couldn't really even commit to it.
Yeah, speaking of commitment, now looking on to the objective or even the, well, momentum of UAE. We have 2 Impure Rage present for 7M Dan and Drago. He has the magic shoes now. Having the extra cooldown reduction in the first 3 minutes of the game could actually give a lot of poke potential for Brazil. So looking at this window that they have right now, they have the Valentina, they have the Mathilda, and as well as the Irithel. They can poke the hell out of these heroes and force them to use resources. But as you can see, we have items on our screens here. We have the mana, you have extra defense from the steel leg plates, but that is just for the EXP lane. So mostly they're building up for the first core items, but on the other hand, on how UAE sees this, they have more advantage to drain resources out of Brazil.
Not only that, but you got to take in consideration the fact that first blood went over the hands of a Martiz. We've seen this before, right? Martiz getting the early kills here, using the decimates just on top of each other. It does spell a disaster for the most part. Anytime one of these junglers do get these early kills, they're usually able to snowball pretty well, right? So that's something that has to be you have to be mindful of here. And at the same time, just again, controlling some of these objectives is going to be difficult alone, dealing with an Eve across from you. So you're kind of forced, especially utilizing Valentina, to take that real-world manipulation as well. And you see a lot of aggression here, right? This is kind of what you expect when you have a Mathilda on your side, kind of just floating around, literally roaming around, trying to put pressure, flying around, if you will. And they look like they might want to focus on Buez. Buez, another player that has performed really well in even previous tournaments. Right now against Upa. Upa, you know, all over the place he has competed and has been on championship teams. So also his mechanical skills are quite impressive. There's an off-camera kill. Super Syndra did get one. It looks like Travis also down there. They also get the flicker up here, 7M Dan. So Super Indra was focused, gets a kill though, 1-to-1 across the board.
Looking at the presence of Super Syndra, he's on level 6 up against Drago, who's on level 4, even against 7M Dan. We're looking at 2 mages here, but the advantage right now is in with Super Syndra. Knowing her passive, the higher XP, the higher chance of, well, deteriorating poking damage that can be utilized against UAE. Looking at the first item here, we have more ways of using the magic penetration. She just got the boots, but it's one essential item to actually make for Brazil to have an advantage in exchanging skills and even the poke. The focus right now is up top, we're seeing Buez, they're just pulling 3 members out of UAE. And just as that, we're looking 2 members down. We see Black, we see Frederick just eyeing on taking this objective, and just how the magic works for Brazil, it's working.
Super Sindra going to be in trouble here, looking for the Decimate, finds it under the turret, able to get away a little bit, but Yupa is there to meet him. Can they grab the kill? RWM comes down, Travis will fall. Meanwhile, Turtle still going to be worked on. It will be secured by Bazizio. They're still working for it though. Trading kills for objectives. Turtle, second one of the game secured for Brazil.
There you go. Having the right amount of precision, looking for damage. Look at that, Black versus Jet. The Charisma almost dropped down 3/4 HP, man. Against a Uranus. Still making wonders right now in the meta. And just by looking on what happened there in that replay, the setup came from Travis by taking down Syndra first. And just skirmish continues to happen, and going back on how they wanted to utilize a takedown from Brazil, it's one thing that we're looking forward to Brazil to actually utilize as they go on entering mid-game.
I like too, that, as we see that XP lane matchup, they're just kind of left to the whims, right? Let them battle it out, let them duke it out here. A lot of the action is just happening around, especially the gold lane, because both of these teams know what they want to do. They want to activate their gold laners as fast as possible. Even better yet, if in this case, if it happens to be Upa, he's going to be in a great position to help carry out with this damage for the team, because he's the biggest impact here in terms of that physical damage, while he has a lot of teammates to focus on soaking up damage here.
Yeah, speaking of impact and damage, Buez now, hold that thought.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do much there. Pokes come through, Luna. He also already used that Circling Eagle, so interestingly enough, they weren't able to capitalize on that. They're going to have to retreat and back off for now.
You were talking about the impact on damage on both 2 marksmen here present. We have the Windtalker present for Upa TZ, but on the side of Buez, you've mentioned how he performs early game, but Pokes coming in from Travis and Jed though. Black still holding through the Pokes, thanking him for those basic hits. If you're in Arenas, you rejoice on those basic hits completely.
Okay, right now, once again, top lane going to be the focus. Buez backing away, forced away from the tier 1 turret. 4 members. Travis looking for a cutoff here. Might be trying to make something happen. He's going to take the brunt of the damage. Has to retreat here. RWM going to be set up by Syndra on the response. Travis falls. Here comes another one. Appraiser's Wrath will fall as Buez goes down as well. 2 down here for UAE. And now the resource is going to be taken from the jungle on top of it.
Looking at the utilization of ultimate that Luna used, targeting Travis right onto the follow-up of the real manipulation made by Super Syndra. This is the team fighting prowess of this lineup. It was the ultimate of the Eve. It's from Drago that's being used against them. As those moments, as those windows open, Brazil sees opportunities to take down UAE. And just as that, this is the threat of the Mathilda and as well as the Valentina having the additional poke and as well as the takedown. Enhances more of the attributes. It's an invade composition, but it works right now against UAE.
Yeah, once again, the focus here. Turtle, third one in the game, looking like it's going to go into the hands of Brazil. Travis trying to get some information. Might not be able to commit to it, just looking for that retribution if he can get it. Gets taunted, Bazizio able to secure it, and there goes the Circling Eagle. Travis in trouble, falls in the river, gets another turtle. That's 3 for 3 for Brazil, and they continue building the lead here. Eyes set on this tier 1. Bazizio going to force Jed back. Jed takes a couple hits. RWM set up by Drago, holding them back, but they lose the turret.
Wow, Luna. Onto the response, onto the positioning, utilizing the essential guidance throughout his team is a great way to enhance most the physical attack and the magic power in those team fights. Right now, compared to yesterday, he had a good breakfast. Completely having a great performance where his team is leading to take down UAE in most of the parts that they can be disabled. Now looking by the lead here, it's on 6K. Now looking for opportunities to take on the orange. Black just completely diverting. Look at that shed. Flickered out.
Defensive flicker. He did use that penalty zone, but unfortunate. He's just going to have to watch this turret get whittled down. Should handle this minion, but just a couple hits away. They do look to capitalize on it. Able to get it. Tier 2 falling here. Space advantage is massive right now for Brazil. They've got 4 turrets down. All this leading into that first lord of the game. It's going to get increasingly difficult for UAE to find space to work with. Let's take a look how the items are falling into place here.
We have the Enchanted Talisman present on Eve and the Novaria, as well as the Magic Shoes. Right now, in terms of poke, it's not much, but they have to hold more time to build up for the Scorch items, the Magic Burnt Power of the items that can build around the Novaria. If we're concerned more of the damage department of UAE, Buez could actually be the key, and as well as Jed. Utilize the Spell Vamp and the Blade of Heptasis passive, which gives you an extra way of getting physical attack and damage, because most of the time, Buez is keeping distance.
Top side, it looks like it was already committed. Jed might be in trouble. 2 versus 1 for a while. Gonna force him back, takes a couple of hits, will fall. Finally, Drago, a little bit too late to the party, trying to help him out. The rest of the team here now. With the guiding wind, they back off. You saw it, Luna gave it a go. He used that flicker, the circling eagle, and they started up on Jed. Not the target you'd expect, but they found it, and they went for it, and all the meanwhile, Lord started up here by Buzizio, having just the time of his life in the jungle.
Right now, Super Syndra having the ultimates of the Mortis and having the ultimates of Eve. Yeah, they completely take that objective away out of UAE's hands by just the Primal Force alone. 2-level gap XP against Seven of Dan and Drago completely gives him an additional damage and as well as convert it into HP. That's why he continually sustaining team fights over and over again as he gets more catch for his team.
Now once again, UAE finding themselves on the defense. Lord making its way down the bottom lane. They're gonna have to deal with it eventually. It should be made quick work of, because you have great tools available to you, but once again, Brazil pressing the situation. They were looking for Travis, not going to be able to find it, but they will find this turret. Tier 2, top side. Still Lord making its way. Very well managed waves here. Holding on to that tier 2 in the mid lane, still going to be working for it. UAE, no option but to just turtle into the base, defend what they can.
Yeah, speaking of defend, you know the Super Syndra has the ultimate of the Marcus. Do you want some catch? Oh, 2 members being taunted. They're black though. Initiating the fight.
RWM going to come through. Penalty zone was committed. Still looking for a kill. Lord finally going to fall here. Holding onto that inhibitor turret. They're still looking. Upa quite low. Buez not able to get the marks he was looking for. Torn apart memory. Couldn't get the kill. But they hold on. They hold on at least to the inhibitor turrets of the base. It was only that first Lord. They need more time here, OSX. They're 7,000 gold behind.
Okay, they can go on for defense, because as we talked about earlier on what is the ultimate that would be the game changer for Brazil. It's the catch, it's the decimate of a Martis, but as we see the composition of UAE, in the damage department, they need to actually have more damage and penetration on the side of Brazil. Because if you can see, Buech has picked up an additional item here for the Brody. You have the extra damage of the Malefic Roar and as well as the Demon Hunter Sword. Yes, he has more ways to answer the defense of Brazil, but it needs to be complemented by magic. We have more ways to observe that. We have Drago right now completely have gotten his item here for an additional Scorch and Poke power up against Brazil. So in this point in time that they keep on buying more ways to gain extra more items, this is just their way of amplifying their team fighting strength.
The strength is in the fact that they also have tools they need to get the vision, but what's happening too is you're just seeing it, right? In Brazil, in their own way, they're the ones pressing the situation. They have this type of lead, why not, right? And if you can get a kill early on before the next Lord starts up, then that's great, because it looks like the UAE might actually want to contest these, right? They're trying to find space to work with in their own jungle, trying to scrap up what they can, because like you mentioned, Buez is that saving grace for them later on, right? He needs a couple more minutes, I would say. He's got 3 of the items he needs another one. And also in the defensive department, right? He's got to deal pretty much with this. Now it looks like Lord's going to be started up once again. Buzizio already has the immortality too, right? He's had a very, I would say, just kind of passive game. He's just focusing on the objectives, he gets them, and meanwhile, Black's been doing an amazing job just holding up that front line. You can see it, UAE wants to come here. They want to get vision on this, but it's just too late. It's better if they just defend for their base.
Melted down quickly. Objective secured by Brazil. Taking the Lord with them, they would have an extra advantage on push. But just look at defenses, UAE hasn't taken down a single turret from top to bottom, even though there's a slither of health there. this is the lacking department of their own composition, the damage. But at some point, they're also respecting the damage out of Brazil, that they want to buy more time, and this is the mid-game. Will this be the answer of 7M Dan? We just look at his items right now. He has the Ice Queen wand, he has mana present, so he has more slow. Once they commit to that, it could actually be a key to penetrate the back line of Brazil. But some points, if there is some bit of hesitation coming from the advantage, or when they decide to strike, that could mean a different route if they do so.
Gijo has had a very passive game for the most part, just focusing on objectives. Now he's going to help the team push into here. Turret goes down to the base, bottom side. Lord will be worked on. Now I set on the mid lane. UAE trying to hold on, clear these waves as fast as possible. They have to respect the poke still. It is there, especially from 7M Dan on this Novaria. They clear it out. They hold on a little bit longer. Both turrets, though, mid and top, lose more than half of their health. And you can see it, right? Brazil still, even despite the lead they have, they're still respecting what could happen for UAE. Black, though, he's going to be just fine.
Just pulling 3 members out of the base of UAE.
Consecrates it through. And again, they still have to work through these immortalities as well. They don't want to commit. They don't want to overly commit. They just have to control these lanes pushing in. There's going to be no signal here. Real world manipulation expended. Upa takes quite a bit of damage, ultimately fine, heals back up with that Haas Claws, and they're back to it.
Let's check on the damage department here for Buez. By just looking at this, yep, he rushed the rose gold meter here present for his own protection, because there's damage coming in from Syndra and as well as from Luna's Mathilda. So having a way of having an assurance with him is actually have to have that extra shield once his HP drops low. So with the immortalities present right now on Brazil, they could actually have more confidence to have a pickoff from this one. That's the reason why Super Seniors now is having a way of stealing an ultimate out of Travis, but so far, if distance is concerned, he can't move an additional step because he could get picked off by UAE.
Divine Glaive being picked up here too by Drago will help them out. You saw that the build they were going for between him and 7M, very equal, right? I mean, they have pretty much the same items, but with Drago picking up the Divine Glaive, that is going to help them, because if you're looking at a lot of these team fights here, OSX, they have to be able to kind of burst through what's happening. And now that Upa has had this pretty good game on this Irithel, who we've seen struggle, at least statistically, you know, up to this point in the playoffs, Upa's where he needs to be. You just have to catch him. But who is going to catch him, right? Your biggest thing is poking them down from a distance, defending in the base. I just wonder how long can they keep it up. From what we saw last series, man, where Kazakhstan held on for, what, 3 Lord pushes past that 20-minute mark, despite the 10K gold deficit that they have, you can't say it's impossible, right? So UAE, work cut out for them. Lord's going to be started up here, probably uncontested. You can see them getting in position, though, and it will come down once again to this defense from UAE. Can they pull it off? We'll have to find out.
Glad that you pointed out the distance that Brazil has established against UAE. If you're looking for a way of having a catch for the composition of Brazil, either Jed right now could actually jump with the Terizla Flicker combo, as we used to say. We have the penalty zone, you have the flicker. It's the element of surprise that they actually do. He has the Blade Armor, he has the Oracle, it has the Dominance Ice. Probably has a way to deplete the attack speed, but good thing that you point out Drager right now. Since he's rocking the Impure Rage, he has more ways to amplify the Glowing Wand and the Divine Glaive. That is complete magic penetration and damage over time. So with that kind of Scorch Power, once either a pseudo-tank, Martis, or even Terizla could actually initiate a setup, that could mean business for Drago to just use the Void Crystals, use the RWM, and slow everybody down on team fights. Will this be their chance, though? Look at Travis up top, half HP.
Okay, Lord still bottom side. They're going to lose the inhibitor turret here. They have to make a choice. What do we focus on? Meanwhile, Brazil now eyes set on the mid lane. Lord still now making its way to the crystal, will be worked on, clear it out. Jed going to take a couple shots here. The lane now pushing into the mid side, a couple hits away for this turret. Base is going to be fully exposed. Circling Eagle comes through from Luna. No follow-up, though. They're happy with just getting these base turrets. They don't want to overcommit here for Brazil.
10K gold lead. No turrets left for UAE to hold and defend. Now they have just minion waves trying to compensate the destruction of their turrets. There's no defenses being taken down inside of Brazil. So now they have a bit of a time and advantage because they waited for the ultra late game, as we call it. We have two mages right now that can be activated. That's the Novaria, that's 7M Dan, and Drago with RWM. The problem is if they could get caught at some setup that Brazil could actually do, it could mean devastation for them. But if they can have a chance to rotate around the map and take a pick-off out of this team, they have a way of deteriorating or taking out the damage department of Brazil. Look at that.
Okay, the fight for this
Jen and
orange buff
Travis.
here. They might actually just give it a go. Penalty zone comes through. Super Syndra going to force them back. They're cut off from the team here. Still going to be going. Travis has that immortality too. The rest of his team coming up to back him up. There's the RWM going to force Black back too, but he's quite tanky.
Oh, look at the
Torn apart
damage.
memory already going to be used. Travis now on the run. Upa trying to fire off here. And no one falls, but the immortality was used up. And all this, once again, before the next major objective. The Lord is just seconds away.
That was just a force of peel, power, and damage from Brazil. Used up all resources, ultimates out of UAE. Those kind of team fights and those kind of way of like getting through in your team fighting composition could actually mean damage out of your defenses. Right now, they can't actually even contest. Look at the damage from Super
Jed.
Cinder. Wow, that hurt. That actually hurt.
He's got to respect that damage. You were talking about this earlier, and you can see it, right? Even from Super Syndra, the magic damage is massive at this point. Buzizio going to go ahead and continue this Lord. We'll see if they can turn it around. They decide to go back to the base, too. They've got to manage those waves pushing in, and they just give it up, right? They don't want to contest the Lord. Give this one over to Brazil once again, defended the base here. We saw once the combination came out from Super Syndra, it's kind of like, all right, now I have second guesses, right? And not only that, but he's fully item locked and he picks up the magic potion as well. So as they prime up for this base, it's tough, right, for UAE, but they should be able to pull it off. Travis also picking up some more magic defense here with the Athena shield. He needs it after that.
Yeah, the magic potion right now, the mindset of Brazil, it's go time. You have the damage, you have the burst, you have attack damage, and also taunt. A lot of ways to answer and take down the base of UAE. So with the moment that they have the magic potion right onto their hands, look at that item lock. Is that two? No, that's one Guardian Helmet, even Queen's Wings. Is this delaying the inevitable? But Buzizio here receiving damage though.
Certainly he'll come through. They found the target. Travis gonna be the one. He goes back towards the crystal. Lord still has to be worked on. Jed gonna go in with the penalty zone flicker, forcing Upa back, but no one falling just yet. Jed taking the brunt of the damage, has the immortality available. They clear the Lord and the minions. Brazil quite low. They'll heal back up the best they can. UAE holds on at the 22.5-minute mark. Can the game end here? Brazil wants it, but it's not going to happen. Based by UAE, they hold on longer.
Yeah, wave clear still present. They have the Eve, they have the Novaria, and this is their window to actually shine with all of the items present. Yes, there's a 10k gold deficit, but for UAE to strike here, this is an advantage. Will they be in pursuit? Will they be able to catch or isolate the one from Brazil? Because they're looking for avenues. At some point, 5 minutes ago, they were looking for a way of isolating a member, either Super Syndra or Upatiza, because if they commit to team fights, such as longer than 10 to 15 seconds, actually one of them could fall down. So that's the problem. So either they sacrifice one with a great setup, or they can actually just go through and defend over and over again.
At this point in this territory and game-wise, like this is longer than usual, right? 23 minutes in, we've seen 4 Lords now. This next one is going to be even stronger, right, at that point. So UAE, yes, they had a successful defense there. And can they continue to pull that off? Now, to a certain degree, they could. And we saw them burn through some of the immortalities as well from Brazil. So, it gets that much more basically crucial for them and how they approach those fights, because as that Lord gets stronger, as those minions get stronger marching in, it takes you a little bit longer to clear them out, and that's where Brazil is looking to punish. So some of the timing here too from Brazil's initiations, it looks like it's a little bit off, right? Or at least the counter punch is usually coming from Jed. the way that he's playing this Terizla. And although he had, KDA-wise, Jez just 0-1-1, but for the most part, he's at least keeping people at bay, and he's got a counter around what Black is doing here. So now it's down to this once again. Lord spawns, Bazizio in position once again. UAE probably just going to make the call. We might try to get some vision utilizing this Novaria that we have, but ultimately, maybe we just give it up here. They still have to manage the waves crashing in on the top side.
Yeah, 7 and Dan just picked up the Blood Wings. We have the highest magic power penetration onto the team.
They're going to go for it.
Will they commit to this, though? There's one member coming from the back, though.
Okay, the slides come through. There's the taunt. Now they're going to get collapsed on the backside. Buez in trouble. Black focusing him down. Immortality comes through. They're waiting for Drago to get there. The flicker comes in from Super Syndra, able to get the kill with his own penalty zone. Drago makes his way to the party, but it's only Black caught in the real-world manipulation. Buzizio now leading the frontier with Black. Finally, Immortality will be popped. Travis is going to go down here. Upa still alive with the Immortality. Brazil does not need the Lord here. 2 are down for UAE. Do they run it down mid? Do they go for the Lord? It looks like they're going to go for it here. Black once again paired with Bazizio in the front. And it looks like they just get the call. You know what, guys? We want this Lord. It's better. It's safer. They go for it. But look at this. UAE also knows what's up. They don't want to give this one up freely.
Yeah, not yet, because in the ultra late game, you have longer death timers. As you can see, they went from 60, 72 seconds, and now with no damage deal from Travis, even for Buez, this is a window. Upa though. Oh,
look at that damn! Look at those numbers, man.
Wow, yeah, just showing up on our screens like 340 and 300. So devastating to see.
The problem with it too is all the immortalities are back, right? Like everything that was accomplished earlier on about 5 minutes ago, it's back to that, right? Immortalities are there. The potions are starting to be picked up. That's the 5th Lord now. And UAE, once again, finds themselves in the defense, but this one is very grim. Yeah. Like at this point, 5 Lords, the 5th one, charged up here. It's going to be tough for them to defend this one.
I'm seeing 3 Immortalities. I'm seeing Divine Glaives. We have also Queen's Wings. We have a damage reduction for the Uranus. Change with the Rapid Boots. He wants to get more in the front line, having that extra movement speed, plus the addition of the Queen's Wings. Right now, we have extra damage reduction paired with the Oracle. Oh, he actually sold it. He used with the Anticuraz and the Dominance Ice. So with this point in time that they have the late game in their own side, they have greater ways to actually soak up more damage, because the department right now, the damage department of UAE is much stronger. But how can they defend this?
Black once again going to push them back here. Luna went in. Jed jumps in for that penalty zone. They're able to find Upa, but he's fine for now. Still has the immortality. They have to get rid of this Lord here before the crystal is destroyed. Upa finally immortality going to go down, but the Lord is still up. And Brazil is looking to take this game in a long 27.5-minute match. They draw first blood in the series.